Hello, and welcome. I'd like to ask you something a little personal. Have you ever closed the bathroom door and let out a quiet sigh, thinking to yourself, this is the only moment of peace and quiet I get all day? For so many of us, the bathroom is more than just a room. It's a small sanctuary, a private space where the world can't bother us for a few precious minutes. It feels safe. It feels comfortable. But what if I told you that this very sanctuary might be the most dangerous place in your entire home? And here is the nightmare that no one talks about. Recent studies, combined with what I've seen in my own practice, reveal a shocking truth. A few simple, seemingly harmless habits that we all do in the bathroom can quietly increase the risk of a stroke by as much as 300%. That number probably sounds terrifying. And as a family doctor who has cared for folks for over 30 years, I have seen the tragic consequences of these small, everyday actions firsthand. I'm not just talking about theories from a medical book. I'm talking about real people. I will never forget a patient of mine, a gentleman named John. A wonderfully proud and independent man of 75. One morning, he nearly collapsed in his bathroom, not from a slip or a fall, but because of a single habit he had repeated day after day for over 20 years. Thankfully, for him, it was only a warning. And his story is the very reason I knew I had to make this video for you today. In the moments to come, we are going to walk through the 5 hidden dangers together. More importantly, I will give you the simple, cost-free adjustments you can make to transform that room from a place of hidden risk back into a place of safety. My goal here is not to scare you. It is to arm you with the knowledge I've gathered over a lifetime, so you can continue to live with strength and independence. And please, be sure to stay with me until the very end. Because the 5th habit I'm going to reveal is the one that most of us do completely unconsciously. Understanding it could truly save a life. Perhaps even your own. Before we dive in, I truly want to know how many of us share this common starting point. If that feeling of the bathroom being your only quiet sanctuary sounds familiar to you, please take just a moment to comment with a simple yes below. It helps me know that you understand, and it shows others in our community that they are not alone. Okay, let's get started. Alright, let's begin our journey. We're going to explore these 5 hidden dangers, one by one. Number 1. Straining on the toilet. The first habit, and perhaps the one I see most frequently in my patients, is the simple act of straining too hard while on the toilet. It's a private struggle that many people face daily, often in silence, believing it's just an unavoidable part of getting older. But the truth is, this is a moment of profound physical stress. To understand why it's so dangerous, I want you to picture this. Imagine the blood vessels in your brain are like an old, soft garden hose. Now, imagine what happens if you clamp down on that hose and turn the water pressure all the way up. The sudden, violent surge of pressure looks for a weak spot, and eventually, it might find one. That is exactly what happens inside your body when you hold your breath and bear down. Your blood pressure doesn't just rise. It spikes dramatically in an instant. For a senior whose blood vessels may have lost some of their youthful elasticity, that single moment of intense pressure can be enough to cause a weakened vessel to rupture, or to dislodge a tiny blood clot that can then travel to the brain. Now, why does this become such a critical issue as we age? The core reason is simple: our bodies change. As we move into our 60s, 70s, and beyond, our digestive systems naturally begin to slow down. On top of that, many of us are on medications that are essential for our health, for blood pressure, for pain relief, for heart conditions, but these very medications can often have the side effect of causing constipation. It creates a perfect storm where the body is already struggling, and we feel forced to apply pressure. Have you ever experienced that brief moment of lightheadedness, or seen little spots in your vision right after you stand up? That feeling of being just a bit dizzy, that's not just a random sensation. That is a direct, physical sign that your body just endured a significant, abrupt spike in blood pressure. It's your body's check engine light coming on, sending you a clear signal of the strain it was just put under. I think of my patient, Michael, a kind, 78-year-old gentleman who had been a carpenter his whole life. He was used to tough physical work. So, for him, the daily struggle in the bathroom was something he just pushed through, dismissing it as normal. He'd often feel that wave of dizziness afterward, but he'd just steady himself on the sink and say it was part of being his age. One morning, however, that wave of dizziness didn't pass. It was more intense, and he felt a strange weakness in his legs. It wasn't a full-blown stroke, but it was a transient ischemic attack, a mini-stroke. It was the final, desperate warning from his body. That event was the wake-up call that made him realize this normal habit was, in fact, a daily gamble with his life. The good news is that the solution isn't complicated or expensive. It's gentle and it's simple. First, begin every morning with a tall glass of room-temperature water, even before your coffee. Second, introduce more soluble fiber into your diet. A spoonful of oatmeal, a few prunes, or some beans can work wonders. And third, a remarkably effective trick is to place a small footstool under your feet while you're on the toilet. This simple change in posture helps your body align itself in a more natural way, making the process much easier and reducing the need to strain. So please, let's make a promise to stop accepting this discomfort as a normal part of life. It isn't. Your body has served you faithfully for many decades. It deserves to be treated with kindness and patience, especially in these quiet moments. Number 2. Sitting on the toilet for too long. The second common habit is one that many of us are guilty of, especially in our modern world. We turn the bathroom into a private library or a personal newsroom. We take our phones, our tablets, our newspapers with us, and what should be a 5-minute process turns into a 15 or 20-minute session. It feels harmless, like we're just catching up on the world or enjoying a moment of solitude. But from a medical standpoint, sitting in that specific position for an extended period is creating a dangerous environment for your circulation. The design of a toilet seat puts pressure on the veins and arteries in your lower body, and sitting for that long can cause blood to begin to pool in your legs. Think of it like a kink in a garden hose. The flow of water is disrupted. When blood flow is sluggish, the risk of forming a small, dangerous blood clot increases significantly. The reason this becomes more perilous with age is tied directly to the health of our blood vessels. As the years go by, our veins and arteries naturally become a bit stiffer and less efficient at pumping blood back up to the heart. Maintaining strong, steady circulation becomes a top priority. When we sit in that unnatural, prolonged position, we are actively working against our body's efforts. It's an unnecessary burden on a system that may already be compromised by high blood pressure or other vascular conditions. I want you to think about this. Have you ever stood up from the toilet and noticed your legs felt numb, heavy, or had that pins and needles sensation? That isn't just your leg falling asleep. That is the physical proof that your circulation was being constricted. It's a direct signal that blood wasn't flowing freely. I had a patient, a lovely 71-year-old woman named Carol, who was an avid reader. She told me the only place she could read without being interrupted was the bathroom. It was her little escape. She started noticing that her ankles were a bit swollen in the evenings, and sometimes she'd feel a strange fluttering in her chest. She chalked it up to just being tired. She never once made the connection between her half-hour reading sessions in the bathroom and these symptoms, until we sat down and traced her daily routine. The pooling of blood in her legs was putting extra strain on her entire circulatory system. So, here is the new rule, and it's a simple one. The bathroom is for business, not for leisure. Leave your phone, your books, and your worries outside the door. Focus on the task at hand. If you find yourself sitting for more than 5 minutes and nothing is happening, don't just wait there. It's better to get up, walk around for a few minutes to get your circulation moving again, and then return later when your body is ready. Let's reclaim the bathroom for its intended purpose. Your quiet time, your reading, your moments of peace. They all deserve a comfortable armchair in the living room, not a cold, hard toilet seat. If this information is starting to make you see your daily routines in a new light, please let me know by commenting with a single word. Number 3. Ignoring dizziness or lightheadedness. Now we come to the third habit, and in my professional opinion, this is the most critical one to address because it involves ignoring a direct alarm bell from your body. That habit is dismissing the feeling of dizziness or lightheadedness you get when you stand up. So many of us have felt it, that momentary feeling where the room seems to tilt, and you instinctively reach out for the wall or the sink to steady yourself. The most common reaction is to shrug it off and think, "Oh, I just stood up too fast." But I am here to tell you that this is not nothing. It is a significant medical event called postural hypotension. In simple terms, when you stand up, gravity pulls blood down into your legs, and your body must instantly react by increasing your blood pressure to pump that blood back up to your brain. As we get older, this response system can become just a fraction of a second slower. Our blood vessels aren't as reactive as they were in our youth. Furthermore, many common medications for high blood pressure work by relaxing our blood vessels, which can make this response even more sluggish. In that brief window, that 1 or 2 seconds of delay, your brain is momentarily starved of the oxygen-rich blood it needs to function. For a brain with healthy, flexible arteries, this might just cause a fleeting dizzy spell. But for a brain where arteries may have hardened or narrowed over time, that sudden drop and subsequent surge in pressure can be the very trigger that causes a stroke. The feeling of the room spinning is the most personal and direct symptom you can experience. It's not a vague ache or pain. It is your brain telling you, in no uncertain terms, I am not getting enough blood right now. I'll never forget my patient, Robert, a 78-year-old retired veteran. He was a stoic man who had lived with these dizzy spells for years. He even had a little name for them. He called them his senior moments. He never once mentioned them to me during his checkups because he truly believed it was just a harmless quirk of aging. One morning, a senior moment was followed by a sudden weakness in his hand and difficulty finding his words. It was a TIA, a mini-stroke. His body had been whispering warnings to him for years, and that morning, it finally had to shout. He learned a hard lesson that day. Your body doesn't have quirks, it has a language. The solution here is to create a new, safe habit for standing up. It's a simple, 3-step process. First, before you even think of moving, take one deep, conscious breath. Second, rise slowly, in 2 stages. First to the edge of the seat, then to a full stand, using a hand on a sturdy surface for support. And third, pause. Just stand still for a full 3 seconds before you take your first step. This gives your body the time it needs to adjust and stabilize the blood flow to your brain. And most importantly, you must start a conversation with your doctor about this. Tell them it's happening. Sometimes, a simple adjustment to a medication can solve the problem entirely. Please, listen to your body when it speaks to you. It is your oldest and most faithful friend, and ignoring its warnings is a risk you simply cannot afford to take. Number 4. Using excessive hot water in the shower. This next habit is one that often surprises people, because it feels so good. Who doesn't love the feeling of a steaming hot shower or bath, especially on a cold morning when our joints are feeling a little stiff and achy? That heat feels therapeutic. It feels like a luxury, but that intense, sudden heat can pose a silent risk. When scalding hot water hits your skin, it causes the thousands of blood vessels near the surface to dilate, to open up wide, very rapidly. Your body does this as an emergency response to cool itself down. To fill this vast new network of opened-up vessels, your body has to divert a significant amount of blood away from its core. This includes diverting blood flow from your vital organs, including your heart and your brain. The result is a sudden, sharp drop in your overall blood pressure. Now, why is this especially risky for seniors? Because our internal thermostat, our body's ability to regulate temperature and blood pressure, is not as nimble as it once was. A younger person's body can compensate for this sudden shift almost instantly. But for an older adult, this rapid change can overwhelm the system. That feeling of weakness, of being slightly drained, or even dizzy after a very hot shower, is not a sign of relaxation. It's a sign of circulatory stress. Your heart is working overtime to try and stabilize your blood pressure, and your brain may be experiencing a temporary reduction in the blood flow it needs. Most bathroom falls among seniors are not caused by slipping on a wet surface. They are caused by fainting or losing balance due to a medical event like this. I think of a patient named Betty, a 74-year-old woman who adored her morning showers. She called them her daily spa treatment. She told me she loved the water as hot as she could stand it. For months, she had been noticing that she felt a bit woozy when she stepped out of the shower, often needing to brace herself on the sink until the feeling passed. One morning, she fainted, hitting her shoulder on the way down. Thankfully, she wasn't seriously injured, but the incident terrified her. Her doctor later explained that her beloved spa treatment was putting a dangerous strain on her heart every single day. She learned that true comfort should never come at the cost of safety. The solution is wonderfully simple. You don't have to give up your warm, comforting showers. Just turn the temperature dial down a few degrees. Aim for water that is pleasantly warm, not scalding hot. A good rule of thumb is that if your skin is turning bright red, the water is too hot. Another excellent technique is to gradually cool the water down for the last 30 seconds of your shower, focusing the cooler water on your feet and lower legs. This simple action helps constrict those blood vessels and encourages blood to flow back toward your core before you even step out. This isn't about sacrificing pleasure. It's about making a wise choice, choosing lasting safety and independence over a fleeting and potentially dangerous sensation. Was this one a surprise to you? It is for many people. If you just had a little aha moment, please comment with the word wow below. It's incredible how these little-known facts can have such a big impact on our well-being. Number 5. Rushing and unconsciously holding your breath. And this brings us to our fifth and final habit. It's the one I mentioned in the beginning, the one that is so deeply ingrained that most of us don't even know we're doing it. It's the habit of rushing through physical movements in the bathroom while unconsciously holding your breath. Think about it. It happens when you're in a hurry, bending awkwardly to wash your feet, or using a bit of extra effort to stand up from the toilet. In that moment of exertion, we often grunt and, without thinking, we hold our breath. This action has a medical name, the Valsalva maneuver. It's the same physical response you use when lifting something very heavy. And it creates the same dangerous spike in blood pressure that we discussed with straining, but it can happen during any movement. It's a sudden, internal shock to your system. What makes this habit so insidious, especially as we age, is that it's often born from frustration. We get impatient with a body that doesn't move as quickly or as easily as it once did. We might feel that our independence is slipping away, so we try to force things. We rush. We push ourselves harder than we should, trying to prove that we can still do things the way we used to. This sense of hurry, this internal battle against our own physical limitations, is the enemy of safety. Each time you rush and hold your breath, you are creating a moment of extreme vulnerability for the blood vessels in your brain. You might notice your face flushes and turns red in the mirror while you're doing it. That's the visible sign of the intense pressure building inside. I'm reminded of my patient Richard, an 81-year-old retired school principal who prided himself on his sharp mind and self-reliance. He despised feeling slow. His wife told me she'd often see him grunt, and his face would get red as he pushed himself up from his chair or the toilet. He would just brush it off. But that combination of rushing and breath-holding eventually caught up with him. One morning, it contributed to a mini-stroke that left him with a temporary weakness in his arm. The experience taught him a profound lesson not about physical strength, but about wisdom. He learned that fighting his body was a losing battle. The solution is not a pill or a procedure. It's a single word: breathe. It's about bringing conscious awareness to an unconscious habit. The next time you are in the bathroom, make it a mindful practice. As you prepare to stand, take a slow breath in. As you perform the action, the standing, the bending, the reaching, breathe out slowly and completely. Coordinate your breath with your movement. Move deliberately. Move smoothly. If you have grab bars installed, use them. They are not a sign of weakness. They are a tool of intelligence. The most powerful choice you can make is to grant your body the gift of patience. Please remember this: speed is not the measure of your independence. Safety is. And true strength, in our golden years, is found not in rushing, but in moving with wisdom and grace. As we bring our time together to a close, let's go back to the beginning for a moment. Do you remember the story of John, the gentleman I mentioned? The proud, independent man who had a scare in his bathroom. Today, John is thriving, still living independently in his own home at 78 years old. The only thing that has changed is that he learned to stop fighting his body and instead to listen to it. He learned to move with patience. He learned to respect its signals. A few small conscious changes in his daily routine have given him the most profound reward of all: the gift of more healthy, independent years. His story is a powerful reminder that it's never too late to make a change, and that the simplest actions can have the most significant impact. The most important takeaway today is a simple and hopeful one. The power to protect your health, to preserve your independence, and to shape your future lies right there within your grasp. It isn't found in some expensive medication or complicated procedure. It is forged in the small, mindful choices you make every single day, in the most ordinary of places. I hope that by shedding light on these 5 hidden dangers, you no longer see your bathroom as a place of potential risk, but as a place where you can actively practice self-care and protect your well-being. But as we all know, knowledge is only powerful when we put it into action. So now, I have one last and most important question for you. What is the one commitment you are making to yourself after watching this video today? It doesn't have to be something monumental. It could be as simple as, I promise to drink a glass of water every morning, or I will remember to breathe deeply when I stand up. Please, take a moment to share your personal commitment in the comments below. By writing it down, you make it real. And by sharing it, you might just inspire someone else in our community to take that crucial first step. Let's fill this space with our promises to ourselves and to each other. And if you found real value and encouragement in our time together today, please show your support by giving this video a simple like. It's a small click for you, but it tells the world that this message of health and empowerment matters. To ensure you continue on this journey with us and never miss another video full of life-changing wisdom, I warmly invite you to hit that subscribe button. It's more than just subscribing. It's joining a community. A family of friends dedicated to living our golden years with health, dignity, and joy. Finally, think of one person. Just one person you care about who needs to hear this message today. A spouse, a sibling, a friend. Please, share it with them. That simple act of caring might just change their life. Thank you for trusting me with your time. Stay safe, stay wise, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.